Instantly improve your blues rhythm guitar playing with this very simple dominant 9-chord shape. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a full blues progression with just one shape. Let's break it down. Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started with section 1 of this lesson. What are dominant 9 chords? So a little theoretical background for you. So a dominant 9 chord is a harmony consistent of the first, the third, the fifth, the flat at 7, and the 9th intervals of a given key. Note that the 9th interval is simply the octave of the second note of the major scale. Okay, so today we're going to be studying this shape rooted off of the low E string and moving it laterally across the fretboard to perform a full 1, 4, 5 progression in the key of G, which gives us the chords G9, C9, and D9. Okay, now let's get started learning how to play the 1 chord in the key of G. In this case, we're going to play G9. As you can see, I've got the bass note or the root note on the 3rd fret low E string being performed with my thumb. All right, from there, the chord is going to take on this kind of zigzag-like pattern. Frets 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. The exact finger positions, again, thumb on the low E string, the index finger on the A string, 2nd fret, the ring finger on the 3rd fret D string, the middle finger on the 2nd fret G, and the pinky on the 3rd fret B, giving us the intervals 1, major 3rd, flat 7, 9, and 5. Okay, now some of you might be having a hard time playing that root note with the thumb. Well, the good news is that note is completely optional. You can just omit it altogether and strum from the A string down. This is particularly true if you're playing with a full ensemble and the bass player is holding down the root notes in some kind of bluesy bass line. Okay, so you can just play it from the A string to the B string. Now, fun fact, you might recognize this dominant 9 shape as being the same shape as a half diminished or minor 7 flat 5. That's the name that it would have in a different musical context. This is because these two chord shapes share a lot of the same notes. For example, placing a G in the bass of a B minor 7 flat 5 produces the chord G9. Okay? All right, now that you have this chord mastered, let's move on to section 2, applying it to the 1-4-5 progression. Okay, very well done everybody. Now moving on to section 2, applying the dominant 9 chord shape to the 1-4-5 progression in the key of G. Okay, so you already have it for the 1 chord, G9. Now applying it to the 4 chord and 5 chord, C9 and D9, is very simple. You're just going to move it laterally across the fretboard. So for the 4 chord, you're going to move it to the 8th fret position. All right, so now my thumb is on the 8th fret, and then I had that zigzag-like pattern. Okay, so the 1 chord and the 4 chord. G9, go into C9. Now you take that 4 chord up 1 full step to the 10th fret position, and you've got the chord D dominant 9. Okay, so practice those chord changes. The 1, to the 4, to the 1, to the 5. And remember, if the thumb is bothering you, just omit it altogether. Okay, strumming from the A string down. Okay, now the only thing I want you to remember when doing this is that you just gotta imagine the root note being present. Otherwise, it's possible that you might play this chord shape in the wrong key. For example, in which case you gotta correct it. So you could do something like this. Just playing around around with the chord shape as you move through the chord progression with half steps, either above or below the target fret. It's a very, very cool, very classy trick. Okay, so there you have it, section 2 of this lesson. The G9, the C9, and the D9. Okay, very well done, everybody. Thus far, you've mastered that dominant 9 chord shape, and you understand that you can play it in all 12 keys just by moving it fret to fret. You also understand this chord on a theoretical level. You can see that we have the root note on the low E string, the major third on the A string, the flat or dominant 7 on the D string, the 9th interval on the G, and the 5th interval on the B string. And you can transpose it over the 1-4-5 progression in the key of G. G9, C9, and D9. Okay, so now that you have all that stuff down, let's see if we can apply that 1-4-5 progression with the dominant 9 chord shape to a full 12-bar blues. Okay, so applying the dominant 9 chord shape to a 12-bar blues is very simple. To do it, we're going to need one measure of G9, the 1 chord. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a measure on the 4 chord C9. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Then back to the 1 chord G9 for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then back to the 4 chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And back to the 1 chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, then we're up to the 5 chord for 1 measure. 1, 2, 3. If you like, you can chromatic down to the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then return back to the 1 chord for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Throwing in the 5 chord at the end of the progression, that's going to signal to the audience and the people that you're jamming with that the progression is about to restart. That way no one gets lost. Okay, you put all that together and we have, see if you can play along real slow and try to get down that nice little comping technique, pumping the fingers on the left hand to make those chords nice and short. Alright, so getting started with the G9 chord shape. A 1, 2, 3, 4, G9, 2, 3 to the C9, and back to G, the 1 chord, to the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to G. Alright, to the 5 chord, we can walk it, to the 4 chord, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. Resolving back to the 1 chord, G dominant 9. Okay, if you feel like you can perform that pretty well, then for a final step in your practice today, let's spruce things up with a syncopated rhythm. Okay, moving on to section 4 of 4. Now that you have your 12-bar blues progression memorized, let's see if we can spruce it up, make it sound a little bit more professional by adding in this syncopated jazzy rhythm. Okay, so over the 1 chord, it's going to look and sound like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. So very cool technique. We've got that G dominant 9 chord shape. Alright, I've got my pick on the low E string, and I'm using my hybrid picking technique, the middle finger, paintbrushing upward on the B string, G string, probably the D string too. Alright, now with that technique, I'm going to count 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I'm strumming on beat number 1 and also the end before beat number 3. Let's give that a shot. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Very common rhythm there. Now if you like, you can throw in a percussive element there as well. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. You can try it on the 4 chord as well, C9. And also on the 5 chord. Remember, you can omit the root note if you like. right, now if you have that technique down, let's see if we can apply it to that 12 bar. So getting started with the G9. Just for the sake of ease, let's omit the root note as we play through this 12 bar. A 1, 2, 3, 4, G, C. You can use the chromatics like I said. C. And back to G. The D. Walk. C. And G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and then we're back to the 1 chord and the whole progression starts over again. Okay, very well done everybody. Today you learned the anatomy of the dominant 9 chord shape, rooted off of the low E string. You also learned how to transpose it over the 1-4-5 progression, in this case in G major, the G9, the C9, and the D9. And you learned how to apply these chords to a 12-bar blues with a jazzy rhythm. Very well done. Now real quick, I want to invite you to join me at patreon.com/Swiftlessons. There you can download this printable PDF study guide with tabs and also chord diagrams to help you with your study. And you can also download additional resources for all my popular YouTube guitar lessons. I want to thank my existing patrons for making all these lessons possible. Thanks so much for all you do. Until next time, this is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.